Hold my drink. Don't act like you know me if you don't know my team. That's how it goes, man. Please don't mind me. It is as if my whole life I dream. Winning is all I do, I think. Magic tricks when I roll up my sleeves. What you talking about, sleep? I stay up and get things done. I be like, ready, get me some. You couldn't prevent me from taking the lead in this league. I got stripes and stripes, striking. Best not hide your eyes. I'll just a whole dynamite. Let it ignite inside and still be able to remind them why. It's Spud Kingdom. Spud Kingdom. Spud Kingdom. Spud Kingdom. Spud Kingdom. Spud Kingdom. Spud. Entertaining angles like, all right, let's go.
Hey, welcome everybody once again to another episode of the Spud Kingdom podcast. I am your host, Woody. I would like to thank you all once again for tuning in and being subscribers and liking the shows and listening every week. I really appreciate it. You guys are the reason why I'm doing this. I'm not doing this for me, for myself. I do it for you guys, the Spud Kingdom. So I really appreciate you guys. I hope you had a happy Thanksgiving and a great weekend with the family. Hope you got some good rest and a couple days off. I know some of you out there don't get that opportunity. Holidays are just another day. You got to go to work, get that pay. But I hope you had a little bit of family time. So last weekend, we got some stuff to get to. We had 2 games versus Casper. We had 2 big games there. We'll get to all the highlights and everything. And then Ogden played Utah in a weekend set, 2 games this weekend, and I'll get to that action and how everything wrapped up. I don't have any interviews because myself, I was not able to go to Casper and watch the games. Holiday weekend, families in town, and honestly, guys, I'm a college student, can't really afford to be traveling, or I could barely go to games. I work to go to the games, and I rewatch them on TV. So I watched the games here this weekend, so I don't have any interviews with any of the Spud King players, anything this week. Hopefully we'll get back to that this weekend as we have a 2-game set coming up against Utah Saturday and Sunday here in town at the Mountain America Center. Rock Springs and Ogden plays 2 games also this weekend on Friday and Saturday. So by Saturday, we should know where Ogden stands and what kind of weekend we have in store for us. Hopefully we can continue the win streak, build a couple points on them, and climb in the rankings and get that first place back. I do have a fan interview this week, so we'll have that to look forward to later in the program. We'll get to that after we do the wrap-up and all that other stuff. So we do have a fan interview this week, and that'll be good. We have a big weekend ahead this next weekend. As I was talking, we got 2 games against Utah. Those games, Utah is in 3rd place, so those are very important games. They're a great team, so very important for us. Not to mention, we have Ogden is in action against Rock Springs on Friday and Saturday. So big weekend ahead. Big weekend last weekend. Let's get to some of the action. So game 1, we played Casper. It was Friday, November 29th in Casper at the Casper Ice Arena. First period had lots of action to get to first period. Spud Kings had 19 shots on goal. Casper had 9. Both teams came out firing to begin with. Especially the Spud Kings, as they were able to capitalize pretty quickly. Spud Kings were on the power play at 1 minute, 10 seconds into the game, and they were able to capitalize at 2 minutes and 45 seconds. Jonathan Radikainen gets his 3rd goal of the year, and it was a great rebound off of a shot from Bronson Sable, and it was his 9th assist on the play for the year. The rest of it would be a defensive battle for about 6 minutes after that, and then we got a power play once again in the middle. No goal on that opportunity, so we were unable to capitalize. And then Jack Pistola, not quite sure how to say his last name, but Jack here got his first goal of the year at 8 minutes and 58 seconds, assisted by Sammy Grimaldi. his third assist of the year, and Will O'Donovan for his fifth. And then 1.5 minutes later ish, at 10 minutes 35 seconds, Owen Cross gets a breakaway goal and scores on Durkin. That one, is a nice play by Owen. It sucked because it took the air right out of us because we started off pretty hot. But there was more defense after this for about almost 9 minutes. And then at 19 minutes and 14 seconds, Andrew Schmidt gets his 12th goal on the year, assisted by DJ McLeish with his 4th and Easton Edwards for his 13th. So we were able to answer back, and it helped us out pretty good. We ended up ending the first period 3-1. So we got a good 2-goal lead. We had 3 power play opportunities in that first period. Only, fortunately, we were able to convert one time, which was good for that. I mean, we'd have more power play opportunities later in the game. Conversions, we'll see, weren't the greatest at that point. So second period was all about the Warbirds. Casper had 17 shots on goal, and the Spud Kings had 12. No goals for the Spud Kings in this period, but Casper was able to get 2. Both goals in the second half of the period, after this 10-minute mark and over. The first one was at 11 minutes and 57 seconds by Ty Batshaw. That was his 6th on the year. And it was able to get them 3-2 at that point. And then a little under 4 minutes later, at 15 minutes, 43 seconds, Braden Boucher, 7th goal of the year. Neither goal came on a power play, as the Spud Kings had 2 penalties in the period, but they were able to knot up the score 3-3 at the end of the second. The third period, shots almost even, as Spud Kings got 10 shots on goal and Casper had 8, but Spud Kings the only one to capitalize. At the 18 seconds into the period, Easton Edwards got a penalty for high sticking, so it actually put us shorthanded and put us on the penalty kill. Unfortunately, it doesn't hold back the Spud Kings. At 1 minute, 8 seconds, William Donovan gets his 6th goal on the year, and it was a shorthanded goal, and it was a great assist by Liam Phillip for his 2nd assist on the year. So, unfortunately for us, the power play did not go against us. This time we were able to capitalize with the shorthanded advantage. And then at the 7 minute, 29 second mark, Andrew Schmidt got his 2nd goal of the game and his 13th on the year. At first, he shot a backhand shot that barely missed and got deflected by the goalie. And then he found himself in front of the net on the left-hand side of the goalie and ended up getting a great pass from Will O'Donovan with his 5th assist on the year. And they were helped out in the play by Easton Edwards. So it was a great play by Andrew, not giving up on the play after getting the backhand deflected away and not scoring. He was able to find himself in front of the net and getting a good pass and still putting it home to get us the goal. The Spud Kings played shutdown D for the rest of the game. No real big shots or anything. Nobody scored after that. So the game ended 5-3, and Charlie Durkin would get his 11th win on the season, stopping 31 out of 34 shots with a save percentage of 91 on the night. So that helped us pick up 2 points overall in the standings. Unfortunately, we were still behind Ogden because Ogden beat Utah in a shutout 6-5 to stay in first place. I mean, that game was real close. I was trying to keep an eye on it for the most part of the night. There was a time that I thought maybe Utah was going to get them and maybe give us the chance to take first, but Ogden pulled it out in overtime. They didn't get any goals, but they did get one in the shootout, and they held Utah to nothing. So they were able to pick up the victory 6-5. So they stayed in first place because they also picked up the 2 points. So game 2 would be the following night, Saturday, November 30th, also at the Casper Ice Arena. The first period would have a lot of shots from both teams. The Spud Kings had 13 shots on goal, and the Casper Warbirds had 15. Only Casper scored, though, in the first period, and it was late in the period. The goaltending battle was so good that nobody was able to get any of those shots past. It took like the whole entire period. Finally, at the 19 minute and 22nd second mark, Maxwell Rakowski, I believe I'm saying his name right, got his third on the year, and it was a power play goal against us. We were unable to kill off the penalty that time, and they were able to capitalize. So that was the only goal, though, that Durkin would let go by at all in the game. As you would see, there's more to come, but that would be the only one. And so it would be 1-0 Casper at the end of the first. The second period would be a lot like the first period. There was 15 shots on goal for the Spud Kings, and Casper had 12. And unfortunately, Casper was not able to score this time, but the Spud Kings were able to capitalize. Also, at the end of the period, it was a long time before we would also get one. So it was 19 minutes and 41 seconds when Liam Phillip got his fourth goal on the year, and he was assisted by Will Strickland, his fifth, and Owen Byer, his second. So little scoring. We didn't get to score till the end of the period. Kind of matched up the Warbirds from the first period. So that ends the second, 1-1 tie game. Basically 0-0 going into third. The third period would finally see some scoring show up, mainly from the Spud Kings side of things. The Spud Kings would put 18 shots on goal, and Casper would put up 8. So big difference this period in the shots on goal, and the scoring would show for this. 5 minutes, 27 seconds into the period, Owen Byer gets his first as he shot the puck over the back of the net, and it rolled up and down, and somehow it got into the goal. So I'm pretty sure he was trying to flip the puck up over the net and get it like a good pass to the Spud Kings player that was in front of the net ready to score. But it trickled up and bounced and rolled over the net and perfectly landed and skated into the goal. So he ended up getting a goal on the play, his first of the year, and he was assisted on the play by Liam Phillip, his third, and an amazing, crazy good goal. It was just awesome to watch. I had to watch it a couple times to double check because the first time the announcer said, and it goes in, and I was like, huh? Because it just looked like it bounced off the net. I wasn't sure how it went in, so I had to watch it a couple times, but it was pretty cool. 9 minutes go by, and at 14 minutes, 21 seconds, Sammy Grimaldi gets his third on the year from a pass from Will Donovan that went up and over the defensive player. I don't know what it is with the up and overs in this game, but Will O'Donovan flicked the puck up and over the defenders, and it landed perfectly on sides where Sammy was able to grab it and basically get away from the defenders and go for the breakaway, and he was able to put it in and get us a goal. And it was a pretty play. I had to go back and watch that one a couple times too because the pass was so awesome and it landed perfectly. You knew something good was going to happen on that one. So Sammy was able to put it away and get the goal on that one. And then 16 minutes, 48 seconds, Andrew Schmidt gets his 14th on the year with an empty net, and it was assisted by DJ for his 5th and Will O'Donovan for his 7th. So we were able to get an empty netter that put us up 4-1 at that point. And then not too long after that, at 17 minutes and 3 seconds, tippers flared a little bit, and Lucas Carlson and Theodore Prim tussle and get into a fight. So a fight broke out. One guy hit another guy, and next thing I know, I see somebody getting thrown down onto the ice, and then there's some punches being thrown. Well, either way, both of those guys got game misconduct. Unfortunately, there was no effect on the game for either team on this point because it was basically game in hand, with the Spud Kings getting the empty netter as the Warbirds pulled their goalie on the previous goal. After the fight, it was basically just a defensive, let's get to the end of the game, let's get the heck out of here type of attitude. So we were able to close out the game. We won the game 4-1. Charlie Durkin gets his 12th win on the season, and he was stopped 34 out of 35 shots with a save percentage of 97 on the night. So big difference from the night before. Kicked up that save percentage a little bit. He kept him at 92.5 on the year, which was still awesome. I think it kicked it up a little bit on the point, I think he was like a 92.1 or 92.2 before the weekend started, so it did put him up a little bit. The Spud Kings got 2 more points in the standings, but unfortunately, Ogden won again 5-2 to keep that 1-point lead. So unfortunately, we did not get to take over first place, even though we got the weekend sweep. And this was our 7th win in a row. The Spud Kings are on a fire right now. Hopefully, we keep it going with Utah coming into town this weekend, because this is going to be a huge weekend for us as we battle Utah, who's third, and Ogden is playing Rock Springs in a double game set. So, huge weekend coming up. So, I'm going to take a quick break. And then when I come back, we'll get to my 3 stars of the week, hockey rules, and some other things that we got coming up. So I'm going to take a quick break, and I'll be back right after this. Okay, welcome back, Spud Kingdom. You're probably asking, why do I take a break? Like, it's a podcast. Why don't you just keep talking? Well, because after I do the recap, honestly, I talk so much, I get pretty parched, and I don't want to take drinks and get my voice back to normal on air. So I'd rather take a quick break right there and sort out everything and then come back to it. So welcome back. Thanks for keeping in tune with me. So the next thing I want to get to is the 3 stars of the week. I kind of like this that I started last week. This little new segment here gives you kind of an idea how well the boys are doing, and kind of gives me a feel on what you guys think as well, and who capitalized on the weekend's games and whatnot. So my 3 stars of the week this week. I had a few choices to go through. There was quite a few options, especially for my 3rd star. My 3rd star was really hard. I had a few candidates between Easton Edwards, Owen Byer, Will O'Donovan, and Will Donovan. But in the end, my 3rd star went to Easton Edwards. Easton had a couple assists on the weekend, and he's just been playing great overall lately. In this 7-game win streak, he has quite a few assists in each of those games, and even a couple goals somewhere in the middle of them. This weekend, he had a few assists. The other candidates had a couple assists, or 1 goal, 1 assist, something along those lines. So it was kind of hard to choose in the beginning of who I was going to pick for the 3rd star. But in the end, I went with Easton Edwards. Been playing really great lately. So my 3rd star of the week, Easton Edwards. 2nd star of the week was Charlie Durkin, who's got 2 wins on the weekend. And his save percentage for the weekend was a 94. And it helped boost it up to a 92.5 overall for the season. Charlie's just playing outstanding. He played really good this weekend, picking up 2 more wins for us. This is another reason why we call him the Wall, folks. Like, he does anything and everything he can to try to get us a victory, and he proved that just this weekend. My 1st star of the week, I think it's been a long time coming. I mean, I've only been doing this segment for 2 weeks now, but this man leads our team in points, goals. He's up there in assists. He's one of the best players in the entire NCDC. My 1st star of the week is Andrew Schmidt, who had 3 goals over the weekend. And he's still number 1 on the team, as I mentioned just a few seconds ago. He's got 14 overall. I mean, this kid is just playing out of his mind this year, and it's just one of the main reasons why we are right there in 2nd place, battling for 1st place with Ogden. So my 3 stars of the week: 3rd star, Easton Edwards; 2nd star, Charlie Durkin; and the 1st star, well-deserved, Andrew Schmidt. So on top of that, let's get to the stats. Overall stats so far. Like I was just saying a second ago, Andrew Schmidt is leading the team with points, and he's 4th in the NCDC with 26 total points. Easton Edwards is number 2 on the team with 23, and I think he's like tied in 9th. Like, there's a stack of them with 23 points, so he's up there as well. For the NCDC is with that. Goals, Andrew Schmidt is 1st on the team and tied for 4th in the NCDC with Brody Simcoe. Can't get away from that guy. Anyway, they both have 14 goals on the year. So Andrew is 1st on the team, 4th in the NCDC. I guess they're technically tied for 3rd. Brody was listed just above him, but even though they both have 14. So I would say, I guess they're tied for 3rd. And then assists, Easton Edwards is 1st on the team with 14, and Schmidt is 2nd with 12. So those 2 guys lead us in scoring almost every weekend. You see one, if not both of their names in the stat column for either points or assists or both. These guys just keep dominating, and they are two of the reasons why we are doing so well right now. Overall standings, in the Mountain Division, Ogden is still number one with 32 points. Our beloved Spud Kings are second with 31. The Utah Outliers are third with 29. So Spud Kings sit fifth overall in the NCDC with those 31 points. So they're doing really well. This weekend is setting to be a big weekend for the standings, and hopefully to climb some more. So now let's get on to the hockey rule of the week. So last week I covered tripping, and so I decided to pair that a little bit this week with hooking, because sometimes the action of either one can be mistaken for the other, and I'll get to a clear separation of the two after I explain the rule of hooking itself. So hooking is the action of impeding the progress of an opponent with pulling or tugging motion of the blade of the stick. So basically, if you grab and stop the other a player from doing anything, or move him out of position, or just basically grab him with the blade of the stick, it is considered hooking. A player cannot use their stick against an opponent's body, whether they have a puck or no puck, to gain positional advantage. So cannot use your stick at all to gain any type of positional advantage, whether that's stopping the opponent from skating or turning him away from the puck or whatever it may be. You cannot do that. That is considered hooking. So the difference between the two, this is the reason why I tied them together, because sometimes when a player sticks his stick out and catches the skate, people are like, well, he hooked him. Well, actually, he just tripped him. Let me tell you the difference. So tripping makes an opponent fall down. Hooking only grabs the opponent with the stick and impedes their direction or their ability to move or whatever it may be. So tripping makes them fall. Hooking just impedes them. So that's the difference between the two. Hooking also just a 2-minute minor. It's nothing big. It's not going to be no game misconduct or anything like that. So just a 2-minute minor for that. And that is your hockey rule of the week, hooking. So let's get to the trivia. Last week I asked you guys a trivia question. And it was who scored the first goal of the year for the Spud Kings this year? And the answer was Will O'Donovan. So, and the winner was Brian Kohler. He answered on Facebook on the, I put the question out there. He put the comment. He was the only one to respond, and he got the answer correct. So, Brian, I'll be hooking you up with that free hat, and I'll be looking for you. I'll either get a hold of you on Facebook ahead of time, or I'll be finding you this weekend at the game and getting that to you. So this week, I put another hat on the line. Like if somebody besides Brian doesn't win, well, get another hat on the line. If you end up winning again, then I'll get you like a T-shirt or something. I'll make you up like a Spud Kingdom podcast T-shirt or something cool like that. But I'll make sure we'll get some type of prize out there. But this week, the question is going to pertain to the NHL, not just the Spud Kings. This one actually is going to be an NHL question. And this week's question is, who holds the record for most hat tricks in one season? So there's been a hat trick is when a person scores 3 goals. We'll get to that eventually when I get to a rules and regulations segment. We will talk about hat tricks. So who has the most 3-goal games in one season? That's the question of the week. Get at me on Facebook at Spud Kingdom Podcast. I will write the question on there after the episodes go live. That way you have a place to comment. Comment your answers on there. Hopefully we can get more than one person to answer this week. That way I can do some type of random generator and get somebody else to win this week. Brian, if you're listening, which you probably will be, feel free to answer, man. If you're the only one that answers, I'll figure out a cool prize for you. Don't worry. We'll figure something out, man. So the question of the week, who holds the record for the most hat tricks in one season? All right. And then I have a special fan guest this week. I wasn't able to get one last week, obviously, with the holiday season. It's kind of hard to get people away from families and all the busy things that they have to do preparing for the feast and just having a nice weekend away from work. A lot of people were working real hard for the first 3 days of the week. So it was just hard to get anybody in here last week to talk to them about anything. So we didn't have an interview last week, but this week I was able to get one. I was able to get my little brother here to talk to us and give us his experience. My little brother is younger. He's in the young adult age group. He's 22. So it's a different perspective than what I've had on here so far. And it's kind of nice to just get that perspective going. So let's get to the fan interview of the week. All right, Spud Kingdom. So I am here with my interview of the week, my fan interview. This week I have my little brother Bryce on the show. He's 22, so he fits that young adult category and like the ones that we don't see too often at the games because hockey sometimes just isn't as interesting to them. And I'm going to give him a chance to explain his story a little bit. So without further ado, here's my brother Bryce. Hey Bryce, welcome to the show, man.
Hey man, how's it going? I'm pretty excited.
Yeah, I'm excited too. Thanks, man. So would you consider yourself a hockey fan?
I haven't always been a hockey fan. I would say nowadays for sure I am definitely a hockey fan, yeah.
So growing up, you would say you didn't really follow it. You wasn't much of a fan then?
Yeah, I definitely wasn't very interested in it as I was growing up. Never watched it. Didn't know anything about any team, so yeah.
So I know when you were younger, you and Mom, Sky, you guys took a trip to Washington to see Aunt Susie and the girls, and you guys went to a Tri-City Americans game. Tell me what that experience was like.
That was super that was super fun. That was actually the first hockey game I ever went to. It was super static in the stadium. Everybody was having a good time. There was a lot of fast-paced motion, a lot of scoring, and there was quite a few fights, so it was pretty exciting for me.
So it kept you entertained and interested pretty much the whole game?
Yes.
All right, so and then like about 10 years ago, which is probably about 10 years, probably about 5 or 6 years after you went to that game.
Yeah.
We went down to Arizona for Thanksgiving and we went to a couple Coyotes games. Explain your experience to that and how it differed from the previous one.
Yeah. For one, it was super awesome to even go to a professional hockey game. But it was a lot slower. Those guys are really good. Everybody on that team are professional, so it's a lot harder for them to score goals. It seems to be a lot slower. So back then, to me, at that time, it was actually pretty boring and kind of killed my vibe for hockey.
Yeah, I could see how that is. I was actually talking about that on a previous episode with another guest, how we actually prefer going to Spud Kings games because they're a little bit more fast-paced and not as technical as NHL games.
Yeah, for sure.
You went to a Spud Kings game a couple years ago in the first season of the Spud Kings. What kind of experience did you have with that?
That was a whole different experience, and I was a little bit older, so I understood a little bit more about hockey and what was going on. It was super exciting. The crowd that was there was ecstatic. It was fun watching the players play. They were super competitive. There was a few fights, fussles every other minute. It was super interesting. There's a lot of scoring going on. The production of the stadium and the way that they handled the crowd was pretty interesting, and it was a lot of fun.
So would you say that going to that game compared to the other two kind of changed your outlook on hockey in general?
Yeah, absolutely it did.
Have you been able to go to any more games since then?
No, I haven't been able to. My buddies have been able to go to quite a few games. I got a couple buddies that get to go every once in a while, and they absolutely love it. So I hope that here soon at some point that I would get to go to one.
Yeah, if you get the chance, December 8th, that game is on a Sunday, and it was supposed to be in Utah, but now it's at Mountain America Center. So those tickets are very readily available. So there's a chance you can go to a game pretty soon, actually in a couple weeks if you wanted to.
Yeah, it is hard to get tickets for that.
And I noticed after you went to your first Spud Kings game, you ended up buying like the NHL video game.
Yeah, I did actually, and I actually took it pretty seriously. I still played it out. I just played a couple days ago. I love that game. It's a lot of fun, really interesting. It was a lot different than any other game I've played. But yeah, I like playing it with me and my buddies, and we have a good time.
So now that you've been to Spud King's game, you play the hockey game on the video games and stuff. Do you follow an NHL team now?
Yeah, I would say my favorite team would be the Colorado Avalanches.
Oh yeah, McKinnon's quite a beast in the car. Those guys are awesome.
Yeah, I love playing with them.
So not big of a hockey fan growing up. Go to a Spud Kings game. You end up buying a hockey video game, start following a hockey team. So the Spud Kings, in a way, kind of changed your life, especially when it comes to hockey.
Yeah, absolutely.
So would you recommend a Spud Kings game to anybody, especially anybody that's never even followed hockey like you did before?
Oh yeah, absolutely. The vibe in the stadium just itself is really fun, and if you can get into watching the players play and do what they do, it's really interesting to see how good they can be. And they're really young, so it's good to see how young they are and how fast they move and how good they are at the game.
Yeah, and they're very skilled for being like basically high school age kids.
Yeah, they're very good.
They range from like 16 to, I think the oldest is like 20 years old. So those guys are trying to get into college or onto a semi-pro team so they can get up there into the pros. That's the whole point of this league. So it's kind of interesting to see them play. They play their hearts out every single night because they are trying to play for something in the future.
Yeah, I think that's what makes it so good, is that those guys are still trying to prove something. So it makes the game that much more interesting because you could see how hard they're trying to compete and show out and do what they can do.
Yeah, I agree 100%. So for those of you that have never been to a game, take it from my little brother. Wasn't a hockey fan growing up, went to a game. Now he plays the video games. He actually follows the NHL a little bit, watches the Stanley Cup. Last year, the Colorado made it pretty far.
Yeah, the year before that they won. So
yeah, so I mean they're coming up. You picked a good time to start falling in love with hockey.
Yeah.
I just changed my favorite team. I used to be a Coyotes fan. Now I'm a Ducks fan. So maybe me and you have to go to an Avalanche Ducks game.
Oh, man, that would be awesome.
Especially now they have $49 flights from Idaho Falls to Denver.
Oh, yeah, that would be great.
So that would be awesome. So I want to thank you for coming on the show, Bryce, taking the time to sit with me. Appreciate everything. Thanks very much, man.
Yeah, awesome, man. It was great. I would like to do it again sometime.
Yeah, for sure. We'll have you on again. All right. Have a good day, man.
Yeah, you too.
Man, thanks very much, Bryce. I really appreciate you having on the show, man. Yeah, we'll have to have you on again sometime in the future. Hopefully, pardon me. Hopefully we can get another game. Maybe we'll go to a game together, and then we can come and talk about that game and what we saw. And maybe now that you know a little bit more hockey, you can give me like a little bit of an insight of what you saw at the game. So I really appreciate you coming on the show. Definitely have to get you on another time. Let's go catch a game together, brother. I really appreciate you stopping and talking with me for a minute. So let's wrap things up a little bit. So after this weekend, we won both games. We swept the weekend, put our winning streak back up to 7 games. I mean, we're kicking butt. Well, we hope we can continue this weekend. We're still in second place though, because Ogden was able to take care of their business this weekend as well, winning both games against Utah. And we got Utah coming in this weekend. So Ogden has 2 games with Rock Springs this weekend, 1 game in Ogden, 1 game in Rock Springs, Friday and Saturday. So we don't play until Saturday and Sunday. So Friday's game, if you guys get the chance to watch it, I mean, check it out. I mean, I know we don't really care for either team, but we could root for Rock Springs in this one. This one would be a good time to root for those guys. We need them to handle some business and take care of Ogden for us, man. If they can at least get 1 out of these 2 games, I mean, I said the same thing last week, but it's so true. If we can get Rock Springs to help us out this weekend, take 1 out of 2 from Ogden. If we can watch them on Friday and maybe Rock Springs takes that game, that way we can go into Saturday's game against Utah, knowing that if we win that one, there's a chance that first place could be ours, depending on what Ogden does that later that night. I mean, I am looking forward to this weekend. It's a very, very big weekend. First game this weekend is Saturday the 7th at Mountain America Center. This is the second Toys for Tots teddy bear toss. So remember to bring a brand new teddy bear or stuffed animal to throw on the ice when the Spud Kings get their first goal. And I know if the Spud Kings don't get their first goal, we do it during the first intermission. But last time, that was not a problem. They scored fast. So make sure you get there early. And if you don't have a teddy bear or a stuffed animal to bring with you, there's other vendors that help the Toys for Tots out where you can purchase teddy bears. Last week, or not last week, but last time when we did this a couple weeks ago, there was $5 for the small ones, $10 for the big ones. Go ahead and purchase them. The money goes to Toys for Tots, and the teddy bears and the stuffed animals also go to the kids. So it's like a win-win. And like when I had Michael on the show, he told you guys that they tried to get 95% of their earnings back into the community, and they only tried to do 5% for like paper or gas and all the other little expenses. Well, here in Southeast Idaho, Michael's crew has got that up to 99.5%, and he's trying to get it to 100%. So come help us out this Saturday night. Toys for Tots Teddy Bear Toss. We're playing against Utah Outliers. It's a big game. We need to win it. And then game 2 is Sunday. This game was originally supposed to be in Utah, but like what happened a couple weeks ago, their stadium is still getting built. So they moved the game to here this Sunday, and it's an afternoon game. So we come out. I mean, you don't have to waste the whole Sunday night. You get done before it's over, like before dinner, really. Get home, have dinner, still watch Sunday night football if you choose to. Come out and enjoy the Spud Kings game on Sunday. There's plenty of tickets available for that one because it wasn't originally a home game for the Spud Kings. So if you haven't seen a Spud Kings game this year, or you've been struggling to get tickets, this is another opportunity that you can't pass up. Come out and cheer on the Spud Kings. Do the and give us a good holler, man. We need to get that climb into that first place. By Sunday, when we go into the game on Sunday, we will know how Ogden did for the weekend, and we will know how we did Saturday night, and we'll know for a fact if Sunday is for first place or not. So come and cheer on the Spud Kings Saturday and Sunday. Saturday's the Teddy Bear Toss once again. Oh, also on Sunday, the kids can skate with the Spud Kings after the game. There will be waivers to sign, but you have to bring your own skates. There will not be skates to rent or to borrow or anything. You must bring your own skates. But the little ones will be allowed to skate with the Spud Kings on the ice after the game. And that's on Sunday the 8th. So you've always been trying to, if your kids always want to be like, I want to get out there with the Spud Kings. You know, sometimes they run the bases at the Chuckers game. Well, this is like the equivalent to that. And because this game wasn't originally on the schedule, they decided to do something special. So this Sunday, bring your kids to the game. Make sure they got a pair of ice skates with them, and they can skate with the Spud Kings afterwards. So come on out Saturday, Sunday, cheer on the Spud Kings. Hopefully we can take over first place from Ogden, and we can keep climbing in those rankings and keep that win streak alive. So remember, we're available on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Amazon Music, and YouTube. Please like, subscribe, keep on listening. I appreciate all the feedback. I can't wait to get some of those player interviews coming up this weekend. And as soon as I get the access and all the information, I will be doing a player profile. So hopefully look forward to that within the next week or so. And as always, I appreciate you guys so much for listening every single week. If you haven't, get on to my Facebook page at Spud Kingdom Podcast on Facebook. I also have an Instagram, the same location. And then we are also on X now at Spud Kingdom Pod. So check us all out on all those places. Like, subscribe, download, do all those things. It'll help me out tremendously. Thank you once again. This is Woody signing off. And as always, go Spud Kings.
K-I-N-G Kings, meaning we seen things, and without a cheat sheet, a walking beast, no wanting peace until I'm knee deep in the rewards I need to retrieve. Keep the receipt once I receive what I work for, but never relieve. Better watch out if you don't move, get ready to fall down. If you don't root for my side, I'm not proud. Like what you talking about, I'll pop out even if it's hard out. Somebody let the dogs out, like they coming for the dog out before being brought out. Whoa, they might need to keep me locked out because I was stomping my stomping ground. So let's know this is Spud Kingdom, Spud Kingdom, Spud Kingdom, Spud Kingdom, Spud Kingdom, Spud. Any day, any night on site. All right, let's go. Spud. Alright, let's go.